You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Now, here's John and today's guest.
The stories and information that you'll hear today will help you make provided decisions on what you need to do as far as getting help with your substance use and mental health issues. Today, my guests are the Sister Act. I'm going to call them the Sister Act. Abby and Akos from Revive Therapeutics. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining us. You look nothing like sisters. But tell me about your organization.
Yeah, so Revive Therapeutic Services is a mental health clinic based out of Providence, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. We offer
Massachusetts?
Yes, Somerville, Massachusetts. We offer a wide range of services. We offer individual therapy, medication management, transcranial magnetic stimulation, and genetic testing. We offer in-person appointments, virtual appointments, very flexible with scheduling from Monday through Sunday, anywhere up till 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night.
So you just hit on something. I'm thinking to myself, generic testing.
Genetic.
What is that?
So that is basically a test that helps us determine what medications would work best for you based on your DNA makeup.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You know, I've been doing this show for 3 years. It's the first time I ever heard of that.
Wow. Wow.
Really?
That's amazing.
Yes, and the success rate is 98%.
So what is, if I come in for an appointment, what do? You take a hair follicle, you take blood, what do you...
Luckily, it's very easy. It's an oral swab, so you do a quick oral swab, you put it back in the package, and then we get it shipped out. Within like about a week to 2 weeks, the results come back, and the medication provider would go over the results with you.
Really? Mm-hmm. Now, what if you're taking fentanyl and you're taking some of these crazy things that these kids are taking now? Yeah. I say kids, but you know what? Yeah. We were just having this conversation. Your oldest client was 80-something years old.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, and it, you know, I mean, I represent the town of Smithfield, and we're getting all sorts of ages from whether it be the teens to 84.
Yeah.
84. We just had a gentleman pass away, overdose at 84. But this is intriguing to me, this swab thing that's going on. How long has it been going on?
So we've been doing it for 2.5 years, but it's been around for about more than 10 years.
Really?
It's been slowly gaining popularity in the East Coast. It was more popular in the West Coast, but now we're kind of getting that advantage of being able to offer it here.
So where does it go? Once you do the swab, where does it go? Oneyville? Does it go to North Providence? Where does it go?
So they do have a lab testing site in New York City that they do the swab testing to make sure that the results are accurate. They don't hold on to the specimen after, so it's all disposed. So a lot of clients will ask us, like, what happens with my DNA makeup? Like, where does it go? They dispose of it.
Okay. So how did you guys get this idea?
To open up a practice?
The Sister Act thing.
The Sister Act. How we got the idea, so we both are into mental health. Mental health, it's something that mostly not spoke of. So in the midst of the pandemic is when we decided to open. We were both working in a hospital setting, having to reuse masks and COVID and so on and so forth. So we figured, why don't we start our own thing? We both have the educational background. We both have our master's degree. We're licensed in the state of Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Why not carry it out to help out other individuals who struggle with that of mental health and addiction? So that's how we started.
It's kind of
just went with it.
Yeah, it's kind of odd how we got connected. Yes. I don't actually remember how either somebody gave me your name or somebody gave you my name, but so tell me about your facility. You know, because I'm intrigued by a number of things. Where you're located, the issue of the swabbing, like what else do you do?
We provide therapy. So we see clients from the age of 12 and up. As you mentioned, our oldest client right now is an 84-year-old individual. So we have the flexibility of providing telehealth services, which is where, you know, you have your computer up. It could be in the comfort of your own home. It could be while you're on lunch break. And you don't have to download any software. You just click on a link and we'll appear on your screen. And then we have those clients that want in-person sessions. Majority of the clients are telehealth because of the flexibility piece. In addition to what our host mentioned, one of the other services that we provide is called TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation. And that's for those who struggle with depression, anxiety, and PTSD.
A lot of servicemen, ladies, military.
Combination of them
Yeah.
all, yeah. So
Yeah.
it treats treatment-resistant depression. So it's magnetic pulses to the left side of the brain. So it does take a commitment. You have to come into the office 5 days a week for 6 weeks.
Oh.
But it's very effective, especially if you've failed more than 2 medications in the past and you're kind of at a point where nothing is working.
You know, when you say nothing is working, one of my pet peeves in the state is not enough child care, not enough psychiatry for Rhode Island. I had a psychiatry organization come a few weeks ago, 8 to 12 months
Wait list.
a wait list to get on, which is sickening to
Yeah.
me. Hasbro Hospital, there's been reports of 8, 9, 10 hours of waiting to see a doc because of mental health issues. And I'll say it, you don't have to say it, the system is broken.
Yeah.
It's broken badly. Someone needs to grab the bull by the horns and try to fix it. Because you guys are young folks. I mean, you're going to be in this business for a long period of
Right.
time. I'm on the other side of the mountain.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for the parents. You know, I'm in the business to try to help people, and the calls that I get are heart wrenching. You know, we had a you know, this is December, and we just had a Christmas parade in my local community, and we went to visit a young girl who got hit by a drunk driver. And she's in the bed for the rest of her life.
Wow.
Paralyzed.
You know, and that, it's just mind-boggling to me, that some of the things that I see that can't be fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, that girl, unfortunately, can't be fixed. But the kids that you see, or the kids that are on a wait list for 12 to 18 months, that is not normal.
Yeah.
That is not normal. You know, and I commend you guys for getting into that game. You know, I wish you could do 4 or 5-year-olds too, so you need to look at that and beef up, because it's bad.
It is.
Yeah.
It is really, really bad. Now, I don't know if you have children of your own, but I go into schools, and I belong to a prevention group. I go to the local high school, and we talk about, I got parents calling me with 6th graders with alcohol problems. It's 6th grade.
It starts very
I
young.
mean, that's...
And that's another reason why we started, is because working in the hospitals, we noticed that there was just this circle. You know, clients would come in, they would be discharged, but there was not enough referral sources for them to be able to have aftercare.
Right.
So we saw this void, and we're like, how can we fill it? And what's an advantage about Revive is that our appointments, usually a client can get an appointment within 2 to 3 weeks. And we want to continue to be accessible and be there for the community, because, as you said, it's tough.
You know, I got to take a break because I have to pay the bills, but I want to talk more with Sister Act when we come back.
No.
You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni, here with the sisters. We'll be right back after these messages.
Now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Revive Therapeutics is in the house. Sister Act, 2 sisters are my guests today. So, ladies, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for what you do, because there's much, much need in the realm of what you guys do compared to other folks do. And I give you a lot of credit.
Thank
You know, I give you a lot of credit coming out of a hospital setting, starting your own business, dealing with the public, helping people. You know, during break, you told me you had 30 employees. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
How many in Rhode Island? How many in Massachusetts?
So we have about 10 in Massachusetts, and the rest are in Rhode Island.
So what is your title there?
I am a licensed clinical social worker. So
No. Are you the vice president? You're the president? You're the secretary? What are you?
all of the above.
All-
Yeah, we all play different roles.
Okay, all right. And same with you.
Same thing with me.
All right. So it's gonna be a little bit difficult doing what you do because there's so many facets to the operation, so many things that you do on a daily basis. And you got to have good people around you because, you know, I say this all the time. Tom Brady wasn't as good as he was if he didn't have a good front line.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
and you know, people today, and when I say that to people that run businesses, if you don't have a good front line, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
And especially when you have folks of your stature, because there's not a lot of good people coming into the mental health arena because, to be honest, we don't pay well.
Yep.
And why don't we pay well? That's because they haven't had rate increases in a long period of time.
Sure.
But that hopefully is to change with the governor's budget this year and maybe next year, depending on what we can get through in the General Assembly this year and in the governor's budget, because you cannot operate an organization from rates 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, no one can. No one can tell me you can. You can't. It's impossible. When you decided to open and to start your own company, how difficult was it for you to, being sisters, people of color, how difficult was it?
It's tough. You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes.
There's no playbook that you have to follow. So it's kind of like you start and you're just kind of following the journey as you go along. And
Right.
there's a lot of ups and downs, but the best part is just being able to see that you can make a difference in your clients' lives.
Excuse me, are you licensed by Buddha, BHDDH? Who licensed you? The Department of Health?
So we
Buddha?
have individual licenses.
Okay.
So because we have different specialty providers, we have psychiatric nurse practitioners.
Oh, okay.
We have licensed independent clinical social workers, licensed mental health counselors. So it really just depends on what the provider's title is.
What's your plan? What's your plan for 2024? I know you brought in your new marketing person today to sit with us and
Yeah.
watching what we're doing here, but what is the plan?
So-
Is the plan to grow? Is the plan to offer more services? Is the plan to expand in other states? What's the plan?
Yeah. So we are moving to a bigger location, which is great news for us. We're currently on Thayer Street in Providence. We're going to be relocating to North Main Street in Providence, so not too far from where we are, but a bigger space, and with hopes to also offer group therapy.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're also branching into doing workplace wellness assessments as well, working with different organizations as far as providing mental health services internally.
Ooh,
Right. Yeah. It's
that's a good one. That's a big one.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a big
Yeah.
one. We get calls all the time for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We get calls all the time. So I want to talk a little bit about the 12-year-olds. I did a lot of work in the General Assembly for kids. But since COVID happened, it exacerbated the problem, big time. It also exacerbated the problem with parents using both substances and alcohol. When I go into the schools and have conversations with prevention folks, and I see what they deal with on a daily basis. You know, a lot of people blame the teachers. It's not the teachers. It's the way things are happening in the household.
Yeah.
And we hear it all the time on the news. We hear people who leave fentanyl on the table. We hear alcohol on the table. We hear guns on the table.
Yep.
What is your biggest fear as a business owner moving forward? You know, I wish to, and I asked you this question because, you know, I'm a parent, but I was a parent of the old parents, not the new parents, the way today. My mom didn't have to work. My mom stayed home. She brought us up. She was a disciplinarian. My father worked 7 days a week. Now today, both parents have to work, and there's a struggle, even to keep food on the table today. There's a struggle to get medication today. There's a struggle to keep kids in school today. So what is your biggest fear moving forward, knowing the problems that we're facing, not only in Rhode Island, but nationally,
Yeah.
with our kids and with the parents?
So mental health is definitely an epidemic right now, especially with children. There's social media, there's school. So there's many different things that weren't there a few years ago or even 20 years ago. Biggest fear is lack of access to resources, whether it's because of financing or if it's just because of knowledge.
Right.
You know, how can we as a society,
Bridge the gap.
definitely,
Bridge the gap of that.
That's a good
Yeah.
way to put it.
Right.
You know, there's a bridge.
Right.
You have a bridge. Everyone needs to walk across the
Correct.
bridge.
Correct.
But if you have a gap of 15, 20 feet in that bridge, you're not going to be able to cross that bridge.
Correct.
You're not going to be able to.
Right.
right?
And kids, adults, seniors, it's going to be worse and worse and worse and worse. And access to care is the biggest phenomenon that we're dealing with right now because we don't have enough docs. We don't have enough psychiatrists. Primary care docs are leaving the state in droves.
Yeah.
Specialized surgeons, forget it. You got to go to Boston.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people, the coverage doesn't help them in Boston.
Correct.
You know, I'm an old goat. I just turned 65. I'm on Medicare. I just had a lengthy conversation with the Medicare people because a specific drug that I have to take for diabetes is not covered. And they want $500 and some odd per month copay.
Yeah.
Now, can I afford it? Yeah, I can afford it. But you know what? It's not the way to do business.
Sure.
Right.
You know, there's other people out there that probably need that medication that can't get it
Yeah.
Correct.
because they can't afford the copay.
Right.
Correct.
We're going to take a quick break and come right back right after these messages. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back with Sister Act and Thrive Therapeutics right after this.
Now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Thrive Therapeutics is in the house. Sister Act, I call it now, the two sisters. Thank you both for coming on today. Thank you
Thank
for
you
what
for
you
having
do. You know, an organization like yours is very much needed. What about help? That seems to be the big thing in Rhode Island right now, is mental health help. Do you have openings? Do you have people that may be looking for a job that maybe want to come aboard?
Yeah.
How do they do it?
So you can reach us at revivetherapeuticservices.com. You can go on, we're located, we're on Facebook, Instagram.
okay.
Our phone number is 401-648-7172.
Great. Do you have a full-fledged website where people can make appointments and stuff like that? Or how does that work?
Yes, so there's an online booking
cool.
section for you to be able to like fill out your information, and then the office staff will reach out to you.
Nice. And I still can't believe 30 employees that you guys have. And I wish you luck in your new location. I would love someday to, and I'll give you my card afterwards to come visit. And then we'll see, maybe we'll have you on again.
Yes.
You know, that'd be great. So
Yes.
thank you for what you do again.
Thank
I
you.
wish you luck.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much for
so much
having
for having
forward.
us.
And for the rest of you, Narcan, get your Narcan. We need it. It saves lives. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.